Welcome to the worst nightmare. There's no escape.
And now, let's introduce Walterdoom. Yo! Welcome to hell, everybody. And this is Let's Talk About Horror, the most hellish show that you will listen to for the next hour or so. Yes, and your boy is back with another episode. And as we can see is, I don't know what's going on with my producer, but yeah, he just literally brought us to hell. Hey, producer Doom, what's going on, man? Oh, okay. So according to producer Doom, he wanted to make this whole experience feel more hellish than usual. He thought change would be a good idea. I mean, I don't know what producers are doing these days. I mean, I'm just trying to be out here for you guys. Trying to create some good old podcasting for you guys. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but yeah. If you don't follow me on any social medias yet, that is Walterdoom on Instagram, Walterdoom1 on Twitter. And if you are listening to me on any streaming platform, just know the name is Walterdoom. I kind of like that snap. Hey, yo, A&R people, can we keep that in there? Okay, A&R Doom said he'll take care of that. So, yeah. But anyway, how you guys doing? Did you guys listen to the last episode of my podcast? Last episode, for a recap, I talked about my 2021 movies that I am most excited about. I had to keep it down to 7 because I did not want the episode to go longer than what it was. I'm trying to keep things short and concise and straight to the point for you guys, because we all live like a crazy hellish life already, and without being put straight into hell, or should I say dragging us to hell. No, okay, crickets. Yeah, but let's say
Wow. Mr. Doom, I don't know what you're trying to tell people. I really don't appreciate the quality of content that I've been getting for so damn long.
And who are you?
Me, I am the ultimate horror fan, and I came to this show just to give you a piece of my mind.
And what would that be?
Well, first off, I want to tell you that I don't agree with half the things you're saying. I don't get what the point of this show is. What is the point of this show? What are we doing? My God, I mean, I can hear better podcasts than this.
Well, why don't you? You don't have to stay here.
You see, Doom, I mess with you. I used to mess with you a lot, like back in the early days, before you were collaborating with different people that I have no idea who they are. What is going on?
Well, you see, I'm trying to like introduce fans to like different people and just let them know,
Well, Doom. All I'm saying is you got a new person in this podcast. I am going to be here no matter what.
Really? Producer Doom, is this really
So, if you have a problem with that, I have 2 words for you. Suck it.
Boy, and you guys thought this show couldn't get any worse than what it usually is. But yeah, Ultimate Horror Fan, I guess we will be hearing more from you, I guess, in the coming weeks. But I guess I want to still kind of finish my thoughts about the last episode. But anyway, before I was rudely interrupted. But yeah, if you guys listened to the last episode, I was talking about my 2021 movies that I was very excited to watch. And I had to keep it down to 7 because I did not want to keep you guys here all day long listening to me. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you guys love my beautiful voice, but I'm pretty sure like you don't want to listen to it for like 2 hours. And I guess now since the production team, I mean, who the hell is producing this shit? Come on now. I mean, I guess I can't use the shit word, YouTube algorithms, but yeah, can anybody tell me what's going on these days? But anyway, what I want to say is for today's episode, we are going to dive into Netflix's Night Stalker series. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been giving you their input about the Night Stalker and what have you, but you have not got it. The review and thoughts about what I think about the Night Stalker. And I'm pretty sure with this crazy ghetto, I don't even know what kind of production is going on anymore, you guys will definitely get a adventurous thoughts about the Night Stalker. So yeah, let's jump into it. Let's start.
Night Stalker on Netflix.
Thank you, strange monster that used to live in the basement, but yeah, that just now is randomly on this show. If any of you guys have Netflix, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us do, who doesn't have a Netflix account? It's almost weird that if you don't have a Netflix account or sharing a Netflix account, honestly, that's what most of us do. You will be a fool if you have not checked out the one docuseries that everybody is talking about right now, which is the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker documentary follows the case of Richard Ramirez, but instead of just following straight up the Night Stalker killer himself, we are actually taking behind the scenes of the family life of Gil Carrillo and Frank Salerno, who were working on the case. Let me get into my thoughts because that's kind of like a synopsis, and I must kind of get into my thoughts a little bit about this documentary. I want to say it starts off pretty slow because you get kind of like the backstories about Frank Salerno and Gil Carrillo. And I gotta say, like, when I was watching the first episode of Night Stalker, it took me a minute to really get into the episode. I couldn't really wrap my head around what was going on just until like in the middle of the documentary for the first episode. Now, here's the thing about me. I'm a big fan of like when documentaries are narrated. So when like there's a clear narration, like a backstory, kind of like what they do on Crime Watch Daily. Whenever they're talking about a case, you get like Chris Hansen to kind of like talk about the backstory, maybe like give you a visual about what's going on, and then you get like the interview statements. In this film, in this documentary, you get more interview statements than actual like narration, but you can easily follow eventually. They do have captions where they kind of like show you or guide you through like what was happening. The thing that I like about the documentary is definitely how, like, the caption, they kind of guide you on how many days this guy was literally on the run committing crimes. It's insane. Like, this guy is really, like, fucking insane, honestly. Because this guy literally was committing crimes consecutive days like no one else's business. Apparently when he was in court, he actually admitted to a crime that happened in 84, but the earliest that they got crimes like by him was literally in March of 85. Now, I don't know how old a majority of you guys are out there as my audience, and I frankly am not about to give you guys my age or anything like that, but oh man, if any of you were born around the year of 85, or if you existed, or even like if you didn't even existed, just know, like, if you were like a baby and you were born around the time the Night Stalker was just going to random homes, it would literally make you shit yourself. Honestly, I feel like you would shit yourself. I mean, at least I would shit myself. Like, just thinking about this guy was literally not only just killing men, but he was sexually assaulting women and sexually assaulting kids too, with no remorse at all. And that brings me to another topic about this film, is that this guy was committing crimes with just about anybody. Like, the problem that the police was having with this guy is because not only was he attacking random people at random moments, but they couldn't pigeonhole him to a certain area. Because one moment, this guy would commit crimes in Los Angeles. As you guys know, I'm from Los Angeles. I wear that loud and proud. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm somewhere from, like, New York or some shit like that. Shouts out to the people in New York that listen to me, by the way. You know, I got some people in New York that I fuck with, and, you know, let's keep that 100, peeps. Let's keep that 100, you know. Let's stay fucking with each other. But as far as, like, you know, I wear the city I come from loud and proud. There is no reason to kind of hide from where I'm from, you know. But with this guy, he was committing crimes in Los Angeles. And as for anybody who's ever been to Los Angeles, it's a big city. It's definitely a big city. I mean, it's no, like, short town or small town to walk around. This is a big city where, just like, you know, if you wanted to go from LA to Northridge, that's a drive. That's a drive on the freeway, bro. And if you're trying to take, like, roads and all that it's definitely still a drive out there. Or even if you're going from, like, Silver Lake to Orange County, like somewhere like Rolling Heights or Diamond Bar, which are some of the areas where the Night Stalker actually literally hit up. I do like the fact that there were different names for this guy. So he was called the Walk-In Killer. I can't remember the other name, but the one name that he really did like, because he sent a letter to police or to the media, I believe. He literally liked the name Night Stalker, which was actually coined by a media outlet. And honestly speaking, I mean, can we really agree? Like, honestly, I like the name too. I mean, I really can't see this guy being named as anything else, you know? But again, like, this guy, he is nothing to idolize, like how he was idolizing his supposed heroes that he really loved at most, which is like Ted Bundy and the Hillside Strangler. Now, that, to me, honestly, if you know me personally, you guys would know that I really do find this guy as a big idiot. Like, just an idiot in general. Yes, the crimes he committed were very atrocious. They were diabolic. They were nasty. They were disgusting. But I gotta say, truly, this guy did this all for attention and show. Here's the reasons why. When he got arrested, he went without basically a fight because, I mean, it was either get killed by the mob or get arrested by cops. He took getting arrested by the cops, honestly. And when he finally got locked up, you know, I mean, he was definitely unapologetic and he was very proud for all the crimes he was committing. I mean, this dude, he literally sung like a fucking bird about all the crimes he did. I mean, he had nothing to hide. Now, to me, that really says enough about a guy being a killer. I think truly he might be the craziest motherfucker out of all the serial killers so far that I know of. You know? And also,
Whoa! Again, Doom! What are you talking about? The craziest serial killer ever? Oh my god, what are you thinking? Ted Bundy killed hundreds of women and little girls and sexually assaulted all of them with no remorse. You can't compare Bundy to Ramirez. Ramirez is just an amateur. Granted, yes, he is a killer and was killing lots of people, but he ain't no Bundy. He can't even scratch the draws off of John Wayne Gacy's shitty draws. So what are you talking about, Doom?
well, Ultimate Horror Fan, if you let me finish, I was just saying that compared to like all these other killers that's been out there, yes, John Wayne Gacy is fucking crazy. And he killed lots of innocent young men and sexually assaulted them. Yes, Ted Bundy was the most disgusting human being ever to like walk the earth, and he killed hundreds of women and sexually assaulted them with no remorse and buried their bones out in the woods somewhere. But when it comes to someone as vicious as Richard Ramirez, this guy was going after any and everybody, and he didn't care who it was. He was killing young and old people. He was sexually assaulting women and children, both male and female. Granted, like, he did let the kids go. He didn't, from what I'm recounting, is he didn't kill any of the kids. He let them all live. But here's the thing. This is a very disgusting act within itself because we're talking about a guy who let a bunch of kids live and now they gotta live with PTSD from a motherfucker who sexually assaulted them and let them go free. I can't think of anything more vicious than that. And honestly speaking, I mean, I just think like the whole act of him going after whoever, wherever, whenever, and just for the simple fact they couldn't even track this dude just only by the type of shoe he wore. That is scary enough. But here's another thing. Let's talk about for the simple fact that there were a lot of people that were dumb enough to leave their houses unlocked. And I get it. I'm not disrespecting the dead. For anybody that thinks I'm disrespecting the dead, let me explain. I honestly think that there was a lot of ignorance back in 85 with a lot of people who are not living in a urban area. They felt like they had the safest area ever to where they could just leave their house unlocked, their windows unlocked, windows open, and nothing would happen to them. That big false sense of security. Now, I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was talking about how much, like, yeah, these people felt comfort because they saw other people that looked like them, and they didn't think people that looked like them would do anything as heinous as break into their house and do such crimes like Ramirez did. Now, if the road, well, not the roads, but if the people who lived around their surrounding area looked a little melanated, I think they would have a problem, an issue, and they would be concrete locking their whole house. And that to me just told the big difference between, like, when these types of people, when they live around other people that look just like them, they have that false sense of security and they think nothing is going to happen. But if they were living in an area where there was melanated people, oh, they would definitely have a problem. And they would have locked their doors. They would have locked the windows. They would have had like barbed wire fences ready and everything. Like, it would have just looked like Air Force One in that bitch, So I honestly feel like some of those people, I don't want to say they deserved it, honestly, because they didn't deserve it. I just think like that whole idea that they had was just sheer ignorance, because there was a daughter in the documentary that actually warned her parents, like, hey, you guys need to lock your doors. What the fuck do you think these people did? Oh, well, we don't need to do that because that's not the era we live in. Why would you want to live in a world like that? I swear, these people sound like Trump supporters. No, that didn't hit also. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I just thought that these people were really just like ignorant to what was going on, and they were set in their ways of thinking like, well, nothing bad is going to happen to us, can it? Yeah, sure enough, I mean, sad to say, they got shot point blank range, and it was in the gruesome way possible. The mom got sexually assaulted. And mind you, he's like sexually assaulting an old lady. Like, this is no like, woman in her 20s, 30s, or even 40s at that. We're talking about a woman that looks like she's in her 60s, and he assaulted her while the husband is just clinging to his life, the last gasp of his life. I want to say, not only was this dude vicious, but he was just an idiot, honestly. Another reason why he was an idiot was just like everything he was doing was to get caught. Honestly, this dude wanted to be caught. And I honestly think like this dude, if you really think about it, he might have been a drifter in some way or form, just for the simple fact he was guiding through California just like crazy. Like, he was going through different areas of California. Not only was he killing his victims, but he was making himself comfortable in their house after he killed them, getting himself a fresh bite to eat, probably taking himself a hot shower, and it's just like, I mean, even though they did say this dude smelled awful, but we'll get to this dude's outer appearance later on. Yeah, but he was just literally, I feel like, was an idiot, not only just for the fact that he wants to be caught, because all he's doing is just like idolizing these killers and what have you, but for somebody who is supposed to be like a Satanist, I really thought he was a dumb Satanist because he drew the pentagram wrong. Like, if you're a true Satanist, and I'm not a Satanist or anything, I don't believe in any of that shit, by the way. I think it was just a dumb thing that he did, was just draw a pentagram, and it wasn't even a pentagram. The shit was a fucking star. Let's call it what it was. It was a star. That's what it was. It wasn't no pentagram. Let's stop calling it that, because a true pentagram has a star that looks like Satan. This was just a star that looked like a star. He drew the shit upside down. So, I mean, he was sitting there trying to idolize and imitate Manson. He's sitting there trying to idolize and imitate Bundy. He's trying to sit and idolize the Hillside Strangler as much as possible. I mean, he was even obsessed with like being locked inside the same jail cell as the Hillside Strangler. this dude was just he was a complete nut job, honestly. But yeah, I feel sorry for those victims that had to go through that. Honestly, I mean, there's a bit of sympathy involved. Just to see this dude was literally going through all parts of not parts of Los Angeles, but all parts of California, and he did it without really getting caught, really astounded me the most. I mean, honestly speaking, like if he was doing these crimes in contemporary times, I honestly don't think he would get away with it. Could he? I don't know. We'll talk about that in the next segment. But anyway, if I had to rate this documentary, because it was definitely a really good documentary, I would have to give it 4 Charlie heads, which is Charlie from Hereditary, you know, when she lost her head in Hereditary. Still crickets? Okay. All right. But yeah, we'll have to give it 4 Charlie heads up. Hey, producer, can we keep this part with me laughing about that? Like, can we admit that was stupid? All right. So yeah, we'll give it 4 Charlie heads up, and yeah, I mean, definitely, it's a must watch, must see. If you guys want to watch like true crime documentaries, this is definitely one to really watch. Yeah, it's being a bit overhyped because yeah, it is like a story about Richard Ramirez. Honestly, it's a good documentary, but fair warning for a lot of people, it is very graphic in details. You do actually see actual crime scene photos of the victims. There's a lot of, I want to say, reenactments of the crimes. Not too graphic, but still, if you're somebody that is a bit of a weak stomach to seeing violence like that, yeah, you probably wouldn't like it. I want to say the one thing I did still have a problem with is that for the fact the documentary was literally it was just straight to the point. You got to hear the stories. And I feel like if you're someone that's like me, that's used to like stories being narrated to you and then you're hearing the interviews and everything, then yeah, you could kind of get lost, but you won't be lost for long. So definitely check this story out. One more thing about this. Can we talk about this nigga and how he had all these girls just obsessed over him? I don't know what it is with women and obsessing over killers. And it's like, I don't know, is it the whole reason of they feel like they could change a guy or what have you? I don't know. Somebody please explain to me that, because I just thought like it was ridiculous in the documentary how they were talking about how all these girls was throwing themselves at Ramirez. Yeah, the guy wasn't even much of a looker, pause, but I just thought, you know, with the fucked up teeth and like that really nasty looking hair that he had, I mean, what chick is really trying to push herself to him? And I saw pictures of these women that were literally sending him photos and talking about like, well, you can violate this pussy, you know. How did Michael Jordan said it? Stop. Get help. Please. Oh, man. I don't know where this podcast is going anymore, people. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. So, as you guys shouldn't say in a scary movie, I'll be right back. Welcome back. You are now tuning into the shittiest podcast that you could ever tune into. Yes, you will think this is shitty, and you will probably be entertained by the shit too, so I don't know what that says about you, buddy. But yes, if you do not follow me on social media, that is Walterdoom on Instagram, Walterdoom1 on Twitter, Walterdoom on all the streaming platforms. And yes, this is another episode, or should I say, we are back to, of Let's Talk About Horror. Okay, I'm really trying to get my mic skills up, people. I mean, how's the mic skills? Am I getting better? Am I? I don't know. Honestly, no one listens to this except my 5 fans. You guys are my people. But anyway, before we went on break, I was talking about in a segment about the Night Stalker that how the Night Stalker possibly couldn't get away with the murders that he was committing in current and contemporary times. Well, looks like things could possibly happen. We could possibly have another Night Stalker. I mean, honestly speaking, how long did it take for them to get the Grim Sleeper? I mean, granted that dude was committing crimes in the 80s and he got caught in, I believe, like the early 2000s. But yeah, I mean, honestly speaking, there could possibly be another serial killer. So I was on this website while I was doing my research for the show. I wasn't able to write anything down for you guys, but I am going to read some of the articles about some of these killers that I find very interesting, that they're even running around, some possibly still running amok, some that are possibly still arrested, or is arrested, I should say. And yeah, I mean, we are going to give thanks to serialkillershop.com for providing some of this juicy information. Y'all, no, nothing. No one's feeling the snaps. Okay. 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 The producers tell me I should stop doing that. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and talk about a couple of serial killers that I find very interesting, and I'm gonna give you guys my take on it. Number one that we are gonna start with is Long Island serial killer. Now, this is for my people that live out in New York. If you live in New York, you guys are probably aware of this killer. I definitely wasn't aware of him, but I'm pretty sure y'all weren't totally aware about the Grim Sleeper either, unless you really keep up with like murder mysteries and what have you. So I'm gonna read you the story about this guy. So one New York serial killer has been plying his grisly trade for over 20 years now, killing at least 10 victims between 1996 and 2010. Now, see, for the Night Stalker, you acting too slow. Okay, that was a terrible joke, but yeah, that you're moving too slow. You know, by then, I mean, imagine how many people not Nightcrawler, but the Night Stalker. Let's wait before I go on. Why did I call this dude the Nightcrawler? I mean, it's like the dude from the fucking X-Men, Nightcrawler. Like, this dude, Richard Ramirez, is going around appearing and disappearing. Well, technically, that's what he was doing. He was Nightcrawling like that, but, or he was doing like fucking, what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal, you know, going around killing people and committing like, you know, crimes and shit just to get a fucking news report and what have you. But let's think about like 96 to 2010. How many crimes would have Richard Ramirez committed by then? Because keep in mind, this dude was killing people just instantly, like almost every day. Granted that he committed like 2 murders in one day. It was rare for him to do that, but he was out there committing crimes and murder and all that types of stuff. Through like, it took how many days? It took like 140 plus days before he was actually caught. Yeah. 96 to 2010. Ugh. That would have been terrible. Yeah. So moving on, killing at least 10 victims between 96 and 2010, and possibly more we haven't yet discovered. Dubbed the Long Island serial killer or the Craigslist Ripper, the extent of these unsolved crimes is still unknown. Yeah, now here's the thing that the article is going to eventually mention, that a lot of these people, they were on Craigslist. This guy was committing crimes against sex workers from Craigslist, and it was just really a terrible crime that he was committing. The thing is that they think that this guy is police trained just based on how the murders were committed, because a lot of the victims were in burlap sacks, and just like there was really no real evidence against them, or possibly like this guy was kind of interfering, or what's the word I want to look for? Tampering with the evidence that was being gathered. They did have a guy that they saw as a potential suspect, which was James Burke, because he was like a police officer and he was known for like abusing people that he was arresting. So he was actually seen as a prime suspect, as well as like other dudes that I'm not really going to mention because, yeah, we are not going to hold you guys for too long on this show. But moving forward, it was only after authorities accidentally stumbled upon human remains while searching for missing sex worker Shannon Gilbert that they realized Gilgo Beach might be a dumping area for a serial killer. After initially uncovering 4 bodies, police widened their search and discovered another 6. 8 of them were women, all escorts who used Craigslist to advertise their services. One body was that of a toddler, later discovered to be the daughter of one of the victims. Another body was that of a cross-dressing male, adding further mystery to the killer's motives. Well, let's just say he was definitely homophobic, and I don't get why he killed the baby, though. I mean, I guess he didn't want to, like, kill the mom and let the child live and be raised as an orphan. I don't know. I gotta say, any crimes against children, I really hate it. Like, I do not like crimes against children. That is like the most awful thing I feel like anybody could do. Yeah, I'm not going to go into any more of that because, yeah, we're not trying to make this totally a political show about me. Several suspects were soon identified, but none of them with any conclusive ties to the 10 victims found. It's theorized that the killer possibly has a law enforcement background, judging by how he's managed to elude capture for so long. The mystery of the list lives on. List being, well, I mean, obviously I don't have to go into that, but yeah, so possibly this guy is still running around. There is no real news reports whether this guy has been arrested. They have arrested people that were being suspected as serial killers, or possibly the serial killer, but none of it really came into fruition, and none of the evidence really seemed to connect. As far as like that dumping ground, it's crazy that it took one search for this one woman who is a sex worker to discover the other 10 people who were murdered by this guy. And it makes me wonder, like, how vigilant or how busy is this beach? You know, to where like this guy could literally go to this beach and just dump bodies like nobody's business. Now, here's one that's like really weird. I mean, this is weird to the sake of being weird. But this one is called the Vending Machine Killer. Now, mind you, I'm sitting here thinking like, vending machine killer. Okay, what is there? Some fucker just hanging out at a vending machine talking about he wants some soda or whatever, and he kills his victims right then and there. Sadly to say, no, it's not. This one is a little bit more, I want to say, strategic and weird at the same time, and I think it deals with customs on how people in Japan actually go about things. So if you want to go full weird, this entry has you covered. Japan's infatuation with vending machines is widely acknowledged. There are 5 million vending machines across the country, making an average of 1 vending machine per every 23 people. Between April and November 1985 in Hiroshima, 12 people were killed as a result of paraquat poisoning, which is a herbicide, by the way, which I actually had to look up, and is used for killing weeds and everything. So there is somebody using this to hurt people or kill people. When authorities looked into the circumstances surrounding these poisonings, they found that most of the victims had one thing in common. They recently consumed the drink Orinamen C. Now, I don't know what Orinamen C is. Honestly, I mean, I'm guessing like it's probably like a very popular drink in Japan. Probably like, I don't know, going by it being called C, I'm assuming it's like Sunny D, or, you know, something that has like vitamin C in it, or, you know, or like high C or what have you. But Yeah, this is the drink that he was using. I guess he knew people were going to drink this drink because I guess it's like really popular. Around the same time, the company behind RNMC had launched a marketing campaign offering free bottles of the drink from vending machines whenever someone made a purchase. Oh, well, see, here's the reason why. The little marketing campaign. That's one way to take advantage. In Japanese culture, sometimes people will place the RNMC drink on top of the vending machine for someone else to take it if they didn't want it themselves. Police soon pieced things together and found that someone had been lacing these RNMC drinks with paraquat and placing them back on top of the vending machine. It was almost impossible for police to track down the person responsible since it was difficult to narrow down where a person had originally picked up the drink. Most of the vending machines responsible were in quiet back streets with no CCTV around, so no type of security. The person who carried out the poisoning was never found. And once again, this was around the time of, this was in 85. So this is definitely around the time with Richard Ramirez running amok. Because this is definitely between April and November. By November, he was actually caught because he was caught in August. But I really thought this was a weird custom. I honestly think, like, for a lot of us that live in the U.S., we are not taking no shit, like, from a vending machine that's just, like right there, especially if we know it's been open. If it's been open, we leave that shit there. If it's unopened, oh, best believe it's fair game after that. Like, I don't know what these people were thinking. I really do want to know, like, how he managed to get the poison into the drink, honestly, because I feel like he literally had to open up the drink itself in order to get the poison in there. But at the same time, you're taking literally an abandoned drink, a strange drink from a vending machine where you don't know who or what's been done to it or who was using it. I honestly think this was definitely a irresponsible move or just a weird situation at that, where a killer was just taking advantage of a situation that he knew he could get away with. Yeah, I hope that since this incident happened, that a lot of things have changed from, like, how people kind of, like, go about using things at a vending machine. But I hear, like, there's a lot of strange shit at vending machines in Japan. I mean, I heard you can even buy women's underwear or some shit like that, and it's, I don't know, I find that shit weird. I'm in very dystopian or very, yeah, I don't know if there's any other word I can use, but it's very weird to me. But yeah, those are the contemporary crimes I wanted to talk about with you guys. Oh my god. So I am going to go ahead and take another break, and when I come back, I am going to give you the Slasher Corner movie of the week. Alright, we are back into the outro, and as you guys know, if you guys have not followed me on any social medias yet, just remember the name is Walterdoom on Instagram, Walterdoom1 on Twitter, and Walterdoom on everything else, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You know, I am there, and we are in the motherfucking outro. Okay, maybe that's a little too hype for y'all. I'm sorry. But this is the Slasher Corner. And for our slasher movie of the week is Your Next. And I gotta say, I really do love this film. You could catch it on Peacock. Peacock is free. If you want to pay for Peacock, it's only $4.99 a month. Me personally, I'm not paying for Peacock. Just saying. But definitely, it is a movie worth watching. This movie is following a family who are being invaded by some masked men, and their only chance of defeating them is surviving and attacking back these dudes that are trying to kill them. So yeah, it is definitely worth watching. This movie came out in 2013. Stars Sharni Vincent, Nicholas Tucci, and Wendy Glenn. A bunch of names I'm throwing out there that I have no idea who they are. But other than that, I mean, definitely watch this movie. This movie is really good. It's definitely worth the gore. I mean, it's not as gory, like, it's not like a Saw, you know? If you like movies like, I want to say, somewhat early, like, Friday the 13th, you know, this movie is kind of like on that type of level. But it's not like Saw, where, like, people are just getting, like, hacked off, like, or ripped apart, like in Terrifier or anything like that. You know, this movie, it's decent. It's decent. But other than that, I'm signing out for today. Once again, this has been another episode of Let's Talk About Horror. If you guys want to follow me on my social medias, Walterdoom on Instagram, Walterdoom1 on Twitter, Walterdoom on everything else that is platforming and streaming wherever you get your podcasts and what have you. And I will check you guys out for another week. This is America. Don't let us catch you slipping now. Stay diabolical. Peace.